who was the heir to the throne, was kind, caring, and very intelligent. He surpassed all his teachers and started teaching them.
I remember the wise man's words, that Siddhartha will need the skills of fighting and knowledge.
Sadly, after his studies, Siddhartha was usually found in the gardens watching the birds and animals. Suddenly, a white swan drops into Siddhartha's lap.
Oh, you poor little swan, you have an arrow in your wing. Who would ever do such a thing? I'll look after you, don't be afraid.
As gentle as possible, he retrieved the arrow from the swan and bound the wound with his own shirt. Just then, his cousin Devata came running off, carrying some arrows and a bow.
What are you doing? That's my swan. I shot it fair and square. Give it to me now.
Siddhartha refused, and the boys began to argue. Their bickering could not be resolved, so they took the matter to the king. The two boys spoke to the king and his advisors, each telling their own side of the story. Who did the swan belong to?
Well, Devata shot the swan, so it is his. But Siddhartha found the swan, so it is his. Who can it be?
As the argument grew more heated, a certain voice rose over the crowd.
I can help you.
Conversation stopped and all eyes flew toward the old unknown man.
No one wants to feel pain or die, so it's just the same for animals. Give the swan to the boy who tried to save its life, not to the boy who would kill it.
So Siddhartha kept and cared for the wounded swan until it was well again. Then he brought it down to the lake and watched it fly away to be with its friends.
It's flying away.
And it flew away.
Woo!
They're not. It's fun.
Could never leave the palace, for if he saw the grief and suffering in the world, he would leave and become a teacher.
Siddhartha is happy. He went to an archery contest and received his wife from
They're married if you didn't understand that.
Okay. I am so restless and bored. There must be more to life than wealth and luxury. Chana, my great charioteer, will you take me for a ride in the countryside? Sure, of course. Let's go.
Chana picked 4 fine, lotus white horses and harnessed them to a chariot. They began to drive, and an old man was on the side of the road. His body was hunched and bent, and he was supporting himself on his walking stick.
Who is that man and what is wrong with him? His skin is so dry and wrinkly, and his body is so thin. He's just an old man, master. It happens to us all. To me, your wife, Yasodhara, we are all growing older all the time. As they drive back, Siddhartha thinks to himself and is saddened by the old man. Okay, this is the next day.
Siddhartha and Chana go out again. They pass a sick man whose body was racked with pain.
Look, Chana, who is that poor man and why is he shaking and crying so pitifully? He is just a sick man, master. You must not worry. Everyone feels ill sometimes.
Siddhartha was horrified and ordered Chana to take him back to the palace. They rode out again the next day, and further down the road they passed a group of mourners weeping at a funeral procession behind the court.
Hold on, pause. Chana, why is that man lying so still? Is he asleep? And why are those people crying? The man is dead, master, and those people are his family and friends. They are sad that he is gone, but they know there is nothing they can do because we will all die one day.
Back in the palace, Siddhartha thought long and hard about all the suffering and happiness he had seen.
What is the point of being born at all? If old age, sickness, and death are all we have to look forward to.
Chana didn't have an answer to this question. The next day, Chana harnessed the horses to the chariot and took Siddhartha out of the palace. After a while, a poor monk came along and died. His head was shaven and his feet were bare. All he had with him was an orange robe he wore in a bow of his hand. But on his face he
white
wore
robe.
a look of great peace and thought.
Oh, how happy he looked, even though he had nothing. Why do you think he is? Master, he is a holy man. He has seen the suffering of the world, the old age, sickness, and death. And he has left his home and possessions behind to search for a way to true happiness. All he owns are the robe he is wearing and a bowl for food.
At least I know what to do. I shall be like this holy man. I shall leave my home and belongings and search for a way to end the suffering I have seen.
Later that night, Siddhartha returns to the palace and told Channa to saddle his favorite horse. He said goodbye to his sleeping wife. Then he and Channa rode quietly out of the palace and continued until they reached the river. Siddhartha took off his fine silk clothes and swapped them for a beggar's hat robe. Then he took his sword and cut off his long black hair. Softly he said goodbye.
Oh, my trusty Channa, take my clothes and horse back to the palace. And tell my father and mother that I have gone. Tell them not to worry. One day when the prince seeks no more, I have what I know. But now I must say goodbye.
Siddhartha was ready to find answers and start a new life. He set off on a journey to the forest to find two great teachers of meditation who could help him find an end to suffering. One day, the wise men could teach him no more.
We can teach you no more.
Wise men, you can teach me no more. I must move on.
If you insist. Siddhartha went to live with a group of holy men. For 6 years he stayed with them. Siddhartha's life there was very hard. He had to wear rough robes against their skin, hardly bathe, and eat very little.
The rough clothes made my skin sore, and we spent hours without moving, and we had very little food, so I became sick and very weak.
After all this, Siddhartha did not find what he was looking for. Siddhartha left the forest and went to a river where he bathed and ate milk and rice given to him by a kind girl.
Take this food, you poor man. You need this much more than I do.
Thank you, kind girl.
After Siddhartha ate, he decided he was going to find truth no matter what. He sat and began to meditate under a tree.
I shall not move from this spot until I see the truth, no matter how long it will take.
He meditated quietly all night, but he was not quite left in peace. Mara, the evil god, did not want Siddhartha to find truth because if he did, it would ruin Mara. So Mara tried everything he could to stop him. Mara first tried to destroy Siddhartha by sending a giant storm big enough to demolish a whole town.
I will send a huge storm to hurt you.
The storm faded away before it could touch Siddhartha. Then Mara tried sending a downpour of torrential rain, but not a drop touched Siddhartha. Next, Mara summoned... Not a drop touched Siddhartha.
Dry as a bone.
Next, Mara summoned his evil army of spirits, demons, and goblins. Mara sounded a great booming drum and screamed attack.
Attack! Attack me, minions! Throw all your spears as hard as you can!
Siddhartha was unfazed by this attack. He sat calmly under the tree. Nothing could hurt Siddhartha. The spears and poisoned arrows flew at Siddhartha from all directions, though they never touched him. Mara had one last thing to try. He wanted to tempt Siddhartha to go back home and abandon his search.
Grr, why are you still here? Why don't you go back to your palace? Don't you miss your wife, your son? Don't you miss your fine clothing and food?
You sound so scary.
Siddhartha did miss his family, but he did not give in. He touched the earth to call it up as for his strength and support. The earth shook and Mara fled. At last, Siddhartha found the truth he was looking for. He knew why old people suffered and why they felt ill and got old and died. Now he could help them see the truth Now he could help people see the truth for themselves. Siddhartha had become Buddha, the awakened one, who had been able to see through suffering and find the truth.
There was this woman named Kizikutami. She had a baby, but it became sick and died. And she was very sad, going from town to town, from village to village, house to house, to find help.
Do you have any medicine?
Go away, fool. Go and see the Buddha. Perhaps he will be able to help you.
I beg you, must come to everyone sooner or later. The end.
Angulimala made a vow to himself to rob and then kill 1,000 people. When he killed the people, Angulimala would cut off their fingers and string them on a necklace that he wore around his neck.
Angulimala has haunted us for years, killing our friends and relatives, and how he steals their fingers, now that's just going too far.
I wish that we could just find a way to get rid of him once and for all.